Hey girl. So I pulled some cards on the dream that I had last night about me and you. And this is crazy. This is just, it's matching exactly the conversation that you and I've had this morning. So I'll just dive into it. I took a picture of the spread, and then I'm gonna take a picture also of the clarifiers that I've done. I might, but I definitely took a picture of the main spread. So I used two different decks to pull this together. One of them was the Psychic Tarot, and the other one is my Akashic Tarot deck, because I wanted to tap into the contracts that are here present with the Akashic. Okay, so the first card was the obstacles and challenges, okay? And this just talks to me about this. When you see this tablet being broken, it's like it makes me think about Moses, and when he came down from Mount Sinai with the new covenant, the new commandments, that is the obstacle and challenges that we're facing and shifting. Because at the time when that happened, if you follow the ages and you understand all of the astrology and stuff, we were shifting from an era of the Aries of the age of Aries into the age of Taurus. And so they no longer, Moses was the signifier that this shift had occurred and that there needed to be changes made in how we had followed God, worshiped, all the things. So this feels like a breaking of that contract, a breaking of those commandments that were a shift into a new era, a breaking of what we've always known, and that's going to create obstacles and challenges for us. Now the clarifier with this is, and see, also fives represent freedom and change, and the clarifier that came with that was the Two of Cups, which is that unity, that bringing togetherness, and it's interesting to me because look at the colors of the skin. So that was freaking awesome. So it's just bringing into balance this unity between all of us humans, no matter what race, no matter what color we are, no matter what religion we are, culture, any of that. So the next card that came out was Sacrifice. And when I see this card, and the interesting thing is it's the number 12, which breaks down to a 3. But what's interesting about the number 12 is I remember going into the apothecary shop, Raven Fairy, that I go to all the time. And a couple of years ago, there was a man, I had gone in there with my husband after we had gone to the Spirit Fest. And I had gone in, and this man, he was a bald man. His name was, oh my gosh, it's escaping me, Daryl. I did not know him, but I'd seen him in there a couple of times, and I knew that he gave classes on Druidism. And that particular day he was walking around the store, and he came up and started talking to me, and he said, "Is the number 12 mean anything to you?" And I was like, I was thinking, numerology. But 12 can mean a lot of, what's coming to my mind is a lot of different things. The 12th house, which is very much where Uranus has been for since 2018 for me. So freedom, and uncovering things that are hidden to you, because Uranus is about freedom. It's in the sign of Taurus, which represents Venus, which represents the earth, and I think it's an esoteric. Earth is actually, and I've heard this in channeled messages before, that Earth was originally Venus, or the feminine representative of Venus, and Taurus is ruled by Venus. So anyway, that's what this 12 is coming to me about again. And because of all the colors, again, this to me talks about unity, conscious love, Christ consciousness love, energy. And the strength card was the clarifier for that. So that was really cool. Then we also have, the next one is harmony. And again, it's a 6, finding balance. And there's a lot of green in here. You see that green around where their hands are. So it's a coming together of this heart space, opening our hearts, trusting each other, finding harmony within relationships with each other. And the clarifier was the Magician on that, which is, again, is you're the creator of your universe. You're the creator of your existence, what your reality is. And so and it's also a Gemini energy. So you can create whatever you want, and you can bring harmony into this world. And so that's what that says to me. And then the last card was New Beginnings, 0. And I mean, that's the thing that just speaks for itself. This is a new beginning. This is a new shift into a new consciousness, a new era for us as on Earth, a new beginning for Earth in general. And what's interesting, the clarifier for that was the devil. How fitting for the way that religion sees what the devil represents. And I see this is a new beginning of seeing the devil in the sense of our stuff. The devil is us, like the things that hold us back, the addictions that we have, the negative thoughts, the negative energy that we choose to sit in, all the things that hold us down and tie us and weigh us down into this lower dimensions darkness. And that this is a new beginning of coming out of healing that devil in us. Yeah. So the Akashic Record deck came with Uriel and the Sphinx. And what's interesting is we are about to embark into, if I'm not no, that's Sleeping Phoenix. Okay, so anyway, I looked up Uriel because I don't know much about him, that archangel, but it talks about a fire in the palm, which what's interesting about that is, I know that you've probably experienced this too, is lately, like the heat coming off my hands is incredible. And everybody that I touch has been saying like how hot my hands are. They've always been warm, but never this warm. The attributes to him are the book, a scroll, the disk of the sun, celestial orbs, stars and constellations. He is, what else does it say? He is a figure referenced in Jewish, Christian, Catholic, and Russian Orthodox and medieval European traditions. The religions consider Uriel the angel of wisdom, truth, and light, God's official deliverer of God's messages. So, with that being said, we have the Knight of Water. Knights are the messengers. Knights are the fast-paced movers. They go and take things and they deliver things to wherever they need to go. So it feels like, and again, there's that mirrored number. There's 12. Here's that 21. That's 21. This is 12. Sorry. So again, that mirror of what this Christ consciousness, love energy is, this sacrifice that we are going to have to make to bring in this new beginning that is going to cause a lot of challenges for us. And we're gonna need to have the strength to be able to endure that, to bring that to this earth. And the water represents emotions and moving, flowing with things, allowing emotions to flow. That's really been coming through a lot to me over the course of the last, oh my God, there's so many things coming to my mind right now. Over the course of the last, months now, this emotional intelligence, finding that balance with the emotions, and being intellectual about that, and the balance of the head and the heart, and being able to allow the emotions to just flow through us. And that's something that I recently was like, okay, so the first, sorry, this message is going to be a little long. In Gene Keys, there is a message. It's not in the Gene Keys. I actually heard it from somebody else, but it makes a lot of sense. How the first 7 years of our life, from birth to 7, we're learning, because everything comes in 7s, the cycles. We're learning about our physical body, what our physical body is capable of, how it moves, how it, does all these things. And in the second set of the 7 years, from 7 to 14, we're learning about emotions and how to allow, like, we're experiencing emotions, very intense emotions. And so we're learning how to allow those emotions to flow through us. But if you have experienced trauma in the physical first 7 years of your life, spankings, things like that, anytime that you experience emotion, so when the emotion comes in and you're learning about emotion those second 7 years, if you've got all this trauma and wounding around emotions in the physical body where you experienced or witnessed trauma in your life, then when those emotions come through the body, they get hung up on those on the physical body. They don't actually flow the way they're supposed to. So you don't learn to release them. Instead, you learn to hold on to them because you're holding on to all the physical trauma because the body keeps the score, right? So the other thing that's coming to my mind here is, I remember in the Ancient Apocalypse show that I watched on Netflix with Graham Hancock, where he talks about the Sphinx and the layers that are on the body of the Sphinx, where it represents that the Sphinx at one time was underwater. And that this is much older than just the 6,000 years that they think that this is the age of the Sphinx. It can go back to even 11, 12,000 years. And there's speculation that the flood actually happened 11, 12,000 years ago. And if you follow the ages of the eras of the zodiac, there's a 26,000 year cycle that the earth goes through. It's a solar year cycle, I think is the name of it. And the way my mind, I actually did a whole paper on this for myself because I wanted to understand and follow this whole thing. And I did a lot of research online about the ages, and I think it was around the age of Virgo or coming out of the age of Leo, which would have been about 11,000 years ago, because we're moving into the age of Aquarius now. There's always a transition period that lasts for a few hundred years when you're shifting from one era to the next era. And so with us moving into the Aquarius era now, it's exactly 12,000 years. And that's why we're experiencing so many solar issues right now, and weather changes and earthquakes and waters rising and melting of the ice caps, because that happened also 12,000 years ago. So there's something about that and this quick message of water that's coming in for me. And there's been a lot of messages in the collective, other psychics that have been putting out there over the last year about the waters rising, about land going underwater. This was under the water. We might have to go back to that. So the next thing is the Three of Scrolls. And this is an interesting, because you see that rainbow again, Christ consciousness. And when you look at this in the book, it talks about whatever direction the man with the eyeglass is looking, that you look to the neighboring card to see which direction you're going in, what's your path that you should set. And the card that comes after this card is the Five of Scrolls, which is that diversity. What were we talking about today? Us feeling no division within race, within humans, within all things of life, the oneness. And the rainbow to me represents Christ consciousness, the unity of one. And again, you have another knight, which is the Pentacles. This knight is a little bit more slower moving, establishing stronger foundations. Pentacles represent that earth material. The bear has been coming through a lot lately. In fact, Gate 34 has been coming through a lot lately with that bear. And if I'm not mistaken, that 34 gene key talks about the shadow is force, the gift is strength, and the city is majesty. And this is about bullying. The reactive nature of this shadow is bullying, a bossy nature. It's like control. The leaders of this world having power and control, and that's how they lead this world. And the repressive nature is the self-effacing, where you hide from your own power and you suppress yourself and succumb to the people who you see as stronger than you, and so they have control over you. And that is a shadow aspect that we're to be moving out of to bring in this gift of strength of the Olympians. Atlantis, or not Atlantis, but Greek. Olympus, is that it? What does the Olympics represent? The strongest of the strong of all areas of life. Well, the bear is also, I was actually texting a friend of mine about this the other night, about how it represents the Ursa Major and Ursa Minor constellations. Huh! That's crazy. Huh. Interesting. There's a lot more I can say about this gift, or this gene key, but I'll try to keep this video kind of short. But anyway, this is where my mind goes. All these things that I've learned, I piece all together. So, but there's a significance because also the bear represents, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember this correctly, because it represents the Ursa Major and Minor constellations. It also represents Arcturus, starseed Arcturus, and which that in the 7 sacred seals of the gene keys is Archangel Haniel of Epiphanies. She also represents Gate 40 in the human design, which is in the heart and ego center. Christ consciousness is the thymus center that rules our body, that rules our ability to fight off sickness. It's connected to the pineal gland, which is where that Christ consciousness energy flows up to from the root of the spinal cord all the way up. But it also represents Persephone and Hades and the underworld. So, what this says to me, because I'm sorry, the knight did not represent the setting of the course. The knight, or the setting of the course, was represented by the chariot, which is Cancer energy. It's fast moving, it's spiritual, it's there's that black and white again. Setting the course, pouring in more of that Christ consciousness energy, then creating the unity. The 3 is the balance of the connection and building of the masculine and the feminine energy, and bringing it into a trinity, which is now a 1. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. The Trinity. The 5 of Scrolls, which is where that eyeglass is looking, that one was represented by the Pentacles, the Knight of Pentacles. So this 5 of Scrolls, these new, because the green represents energy, consciousness energy, but it also talks to me about like contracts. So the 5s is about change and freedom and moving in a new direction. And that Knight of Pentacles is a slow and steady pace. That quick things flowing in fast, like say the Knight of Wands, or even the Knight of Cups, would be too much, too fast, too soon, and it wouldn't hold. It wouldn't be a firm foundation. So we're creating a new firm foundation of a change in what diversity is and what we see and how we see diversity. We're creating these new contracts and accepting, being more accepting of diversity and the differences of each other. Now, the next card was Caught in the Ruins. Now, in the upright position, you see these 2 people, and they're in this caged cell, but up above is an opening. And they see themselves in destitution, but they can actually climb out if they wanted to. So it's reversed. So it means that we're coming out of the ruins, where we've seen a way out, and we've escaped that prison, that oppression that we've been in for all these thousands and thousands and thousands of years. Now, what clarified for that was the 9 of Pentacles and the Page of Cups. Now the pages, or it wasn't in reverse, it was in the upright. Pages also represent messengers also, but they're also students. They're also being taught something new. And the 9 of Pentacles always talks to me about self-worth. And what are your what is valuable to you? What do you value within yourself and within another? And so because it's a page, it's also new beginnings. So new water emotions, new love. How do you love yourself? How do you stop being oppressed by this cage that you put yourself in, or that you think you're in, by other people, leaders? There's a new energy, that's a new frequency that's rising in this earth right now, of a new leader, what leaders actually should look like and be. And it is that unity, that Christ consciousness connection of one. Because a leader, a true leader, which is that Leo energy, a true leader doesn't sacrifice themselves for the group. They don't lead and see themselves above another. They see themselves as equals to the people that they work with. And they see all the beautiful qualities in each other and how we can support that. And that's Aquarius energy. Aquarius doesn't want to be the limelight, doesn't want to put themselves above another person. They want to work behind the scenes and help support the group. So, and then on the bottom of the deck for that was the Ten of Pentacles, inheritance, a new, inheritance, it's wealth, it's success, being successful. Now, the overall cards for the first deck was the throat chakra. And again, a 5. So you're speaking your truth. I don't even think I need to clarify this. Speaking our truth, being authentic about what it is that what message that we're giving here, and about the change and the freedom and breaking free of all of that, and not holding yourself back about speaking out about that. And the other thing that was really cool, and I think I will clarify this, is on the bottom of the deck for the Akashic deck was a fated meeting, and it's number 7. And what's interesting is yesterday when I was meditating, I was just listening to a 20-minute meditation I wanted to hear just water. And just right before it ended, I felt this energy come in, and on my right side. And then the water stopped, and it kind of startled me, and I came out of the meditation and I was like, oh shit. And just like that dream, I had to stop, and I tried to go back in, and I couldn't find the connection again. So that is something that's come. I feel like there's something new coming in. So let's see what that fated meeting is about. New contracts. A 4 of Wands. New connections. New inspiration. New love. Bridgings of the gaps. It's a breaking free, these contracts, this because Hierophant is Taurus energy, but Hierophant also can talk about spiritual leaders, spiritual gurus, governments, things that we see that are over us, an authority figure. And it's breaking free, that Nine of Wands, the things that you've felt oppressed by, that weighed you down, that were heavy on you. And it's all these contracts. What commitments, what people in our life, what relationships, what things have we committed ourselves to that that are weighing us down and are heavy over us. Let me see what that book. Number 7. Sorry if you can hear my son in the background. He's being wild in his room, playing video games. So it says, a clock tower stands with his hands pointed to just a few minutes before 12. A man and a woman approach each other, coming to meet at the time that was predetermined by their higher selves, who are shown above them, translucent and shining. With this card, you are coming to a very important relationship in your life. Either it is entirely new, or an existing relationship is being lifted to a much higher experience. Karma from past lives may have brought you together, so it's important for both of you to stay alert. Do you hear my kid? Keep your individual and collective growth a priority and act with difference and compassion to yourselves and each other. If you both honor your karmic course, this could be one of the highest relationships you can know. This card can also show a fated meeting with another about a work situation, a creative project, or an important purpose that you hold. This too is likely karmic. Perhaps it's a past life publisher, a spiritual teacher, a brother or a sister. Whoever this is a powerful and promising relationship, so get ready. It's almost time. I feel like this, because this is hitting on that fated meeting, this is a contract that was set in place. And I do think that it's about freeing ourselves from the things that weighed us down, from the authorities over us. The authorities that are over this world. Not just the authorities over this world, but the darkness that was over the world, that was oppressing the Taurean energy, which is Venus. Sorry, my kid. What was on the bottom of that deck? Oh, a new way of thinking. It was the Ace of Swords. Okay, so I want to take one more card from this. I always like to pull in my postcards from Spirit Messages. So let's see what message that they have for us about this work, that dream that I had. What is this message about? What advice and guidance do you have for us? It says, Dear you, there is a balance between activity and rest, ebb and flow. You can't have one without the other. If you are faced with an obstacle right now, the best course is surrender and non-resistance. Soon enough, you'll see how easy it is to flow around it. Now is one of those times when you must trust the river of your life, go with the flow, and in no time you'll reach what you have your heart. You'll reach what you have your heart and hope set on. Oh, okay, sorry. I was reading weird. Just remember, Spirit will keep your head above water and will direct the currents. When it's time for a greater effort, you'll know exactly when you'll need to work those manifesting muscles. It can be challenging to master the flow cycles of your life, but as you develop your skills, the fluence will be yours. Enjoy the flow and trust those currents. We're right there with you with our little umbrella drinks, smiling at your success. Love you so very much. Let's see what the bottom of the deck said too. I don't usually read those, but dear you are in such good shape right now that we are all doing a happy dance. In this moment, you have the power to make a choice to get with Spirit and co-create a miracle. You may wonder where this is all going, but if you want to manifest your desires for the highest good, you need to stay focused on the now. All power is in the present moment. Ask yourself, what are your dominant thoughts now? What beliefs are you motivated by? Do you have clarity right now? How is your conscious contact with the divine? Are you plugged in, or are you trying to do life all by your small self? Get rid of negative energy now. Resentments be gone. Forgiveness and love enter, please. You can do your life beautifully and create your most powerful future right here, right now, in this moment. Aren't you thrilled to know you have a huge cheering section over here? Love and hugs always. Those are sweet little messages. Very fitting. Anyway, I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on all of this. So yeah, talk to you later.